Hello and welcome. Oh, I forgot my beach waves that I hit the last time. But hello. It's a drawing stream where we're gonna draw stuff. Me. Let them their waves really complete the whole beach experience. Biscuits. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Also welcome. We're drawing stuff. Pizza, hello. That's alright, Biscuits. As long as you're here and having a good time, that's all that matters. I had an idea for what I was going to draw today, and like seconds before I began the stream, I was like, I hate this now. So I'm currently just trying to find some sort of inspiration by randomly scrolling through Pinterest or something. So while I do that, how was everyone's day? Also, I'm not sure if the new emotes work. Twitch like approved them far too quickly. It was worrisome. Yin Yang, hello. Bean Team, hello. Oh, you haven't been here since we went to the beach. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you like it. By softest, you mean boniest. You can be a soft boy in spirit. What am I gonna draw today? What if we just draw a sleepy boy? We're gonna do it. Date the softest boys. Not bad. We're gonna draw, I don't know who it's gonna be right now. I just wanna draw someone in this pose. It's more of like this way. I have named the beach. The town is called Coral Bear, and the beach is Coral Bear Bay. It's kind of difficult to say actually now that I'm saying it a whole lot, but I like it. Plus it gave me a reason to make some fun emotes that kind of fit. Yeah, it's the coral bear. The one and only. Who should this boy be? What y'all think? Who you guys feeling? Cecil, but you're not biased. I don't know, this feels too, like, pure for Cecil. I don't know. Let's go. Sleepy Junior. I haven't actually drawn Junior in a minute. Actually, maybe I have. I don't know. This is like messing with me. This is a little closer, I think. This person's like leaning forward. And I'm not respecting the lean. What happened there? My like phone went off right when I was trying to move that. Got distracted. Arameus, hello. Hello and welcome. That's probably fine. Part of me kind of wants to make this like a body pillow. Just like bring it way in. I don't know what would be on the body pillow though is the problem. Cushion those knees. No, this is not going to be an emote. I have apparently used all of my emote slots as of now. Need this to be more like that, I think. Yeah. I guess it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Still haven't quite decided who I want this to be. Thought I was on a new layer. Sometimes I like skip a step and I think that I've done the step and I haven't. It's because I've done it so many times, you know? Making this a little bit lower here so I don't end up with like the edge of his butt lining up perfectly with the heel of his foot there. Looks like a boxer's boy. Which means it's probably not Tank. Could be just about anyone else though. I don't think I ever usually really draw Tank with boxer shorts. He's a boxer briefs kind of guy, I guess. I don't know if I need that. Maybe I'll make this Junior after all. Okay. He's got this kind of hair. first of all, it's too tall, I think. Too high. This is too... Whoops. Far forward. Bring it to like here. Oh, thanks, Biscuit. Maybe I'll do a bunch of those like flyaway or whatever those are called. Like the hair strand things. No, not calyx. They're like different. They're like those things of like, a calyx is like this, right? Like this whole situation. A flyaway is like those like little ones that are just like a single line that like everyone has regardless of how their hair looks, but if you put in a whole lot of them, it makes your hair look extra messy. I think they're called like flyaway strands or something. There's like a name for them. If it's junior, they're all calyx. That's fair. Maybe there isn't like a design on this pillow, it's just like cow patterned. I think I might do that. That seems fun. Oh, that was not great. Sorry, missing a toe. Close enough. Put those in. Guess. Oof. Okay. Put in all those little things I don't really need right now. These are all just kind of placeholders. I'm not super concerned about those. I'm just trying to make sure they all kind of point towards him in a way. That way it'll make it look like he's sort of sinking into the bed a little bit. There's gravity and weight and all that, you know? I think he has a bit of hair up there. No, he has freckles up there. I lied. Oh, he has some here, though. He has some on his belly. Good enough. This arm is too long. I have now realized. So I'm gonna bring this in here. That in here. That up there. It should be a little better. But just to make sure. There we go. This is less than desirable. Just gonna get rid of this whole line here. A little bit less of a uniform line. I'll bring it down a little. Actually, I kind of want to be following this, but that might look a little bit strange. Yeah. I'm going to bring this up a little higher. There we go. Better. Probably a little too high. Shrink it a little bit more just so I can make sure I get all of his toesies in here without cutting stuff off. I think that that's probably fine. This back. I didn't mean to group those, but I was going to do it later anyway, so it's fine. I guess. Oh. I knew I was forgetting something. I forgot to set a stretch timer. We're going to do one now, and then I'll start the clock. Stretch time. It's important to stretch. Tried it last time, and it worked out super well. Because usually what happens is when I'm done with a stream, I'm like extraordinarily tired for like no reason. Even though when I'm streaming, I'm basically doing the thing that I'm doing normally. Just with slightly more talking. Turnip, hello. Work. Hello. Welcome. I hope that you are having a wonderful time wherever it is that you're at. And I appreciate your follow. But I guess now that I'm here at the line art portion, how's everyone doing that wasn't here the first time I asked? Hope you're all doing good. Hope your week got off to a great start. It's over, hello. You got bears now. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you like them. They were very fun to draw. Glad you guys like them. I have to put these little coral bears on more stuff. Just because I really enjoy making them. They're quite a delight. Very good. Oh boy. Ready for the sticker pack? Maybe. Stickers might be kind of fun. I would probably like order them from somewhere though, because like making them on your own is a bit of a pain. So if I made stickers, it would have to be something a lot of folks want. Otherwise I'm gonna have a bunch of pink bear stickers for no reason. Well, orange, I guess. Bob, hello. Welcome. Got a very serious cowlick happening there in the back. Some urban tagging. I don't know. That sounds like vandalism to me. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, thank you. Graffiti in my neighborhood? I'm kidding. There's been some like very interesting graffiti near me, which is kind of funny. There's like a bunch of stuff over by where I work that was like put there around the time of the election and hasn't like fully been taken down. It's like that thing of like they power washed where the graffiti was, but like specifically where the graffiti was, so you can still read it. It's just like instead of red spray paint, it's just clean wall instead that spells out what was there before. But it was some like anti-capitalist stuff or something. Or it was like the Soviet Russian hammer and sickle, and someone was like, politics are dumb, essentially. It was very surprising. I wasn't expecting it like at all. Oh, and thank you, Bob. I'm glad that you liked the new setup. It's been very nice. I don't have to panic so hard about whether my iPad is charged or not. Rump. Oh. Thank you for the sub, Silver. You could have spent that money anywhere and you spent it here. And for that I'm grateful. And I am okay with the bear puns, it's fine. Who doesn't love a good pun every now and then? You know? No pun, more like no fun, am I right? I'm still using like a slightly thicker line than normal, I'm noticing. Because I was drawing those emotes earlier. And for emotes and stuff that are like very small, I try to use like maximum line weight. Because when it shrinks down, it's going to be impossible to see anything else. that is not like the biggest possible size I can draw it. Part of me wants to just kind of do this shape and then kind of separate it. But I'll draw each toe individually and see what happens. Probably looks better that way, but it's slightly longer to do. Line was wiggly. I was trying to press slightly harder to make sure that my line weight was consistent, and it just kind of, oops, just kind of ended up making me jiggle my hand too much. One thing that's kind of annoying when working with like very large lines is that your line weight becomes even more important in like managing how thick and thin your marks are. It becomes a lot more noticeable when the lines are very thick and you can tell the difference. Usually, I don't have to worry about them, which is why I'm kind of talking about it now. It's too big. Alright, so importantly, I don't want this to line up exactly with this little intersection here. So that'll make a focal point that'll draw your eye to it like crazy. You won't really know like why your eye is drawn to a weird spot unless you're like aware of this principle and know what to look for. But if you are not aware, your eye still gets drawn to that sort of thing, whether you know about it or not. Sometimes you can do that intentionally and sort of cause the viewer to look in a particular spot. But in this case, we do not want that to happen there. But the reason being is that all of those lines converging into one spot will make it look very dark in that one spot compared to the relative same like line weight as everything else. So your eye will be drawn to the one very dark spot because it looks the most different compared to everything else, whether you really know about it or not. That's why I'm always trying to avoid like tangents where like if I was to draw this and have that kind of just touch here, it looks kind of awkward Like you would want it to be either just above, like his hair come just above, or the pillow come just below. But because they line up exactly, it looks really strange. I'm gonna bring it that way. Oh, because then I have one with this other little strand of hair. Works better. But those are not like end all be all. If you have one in your art, you're gonna like, the art police are gonna come bust your door down or whatever. Like I said, you can kind of use it intentionally as well. But to me personally, they bother me. Hands in the air. You did an art thing. Get down on the ground. Tangent police. Maybe I should make a police bear. That's the next one when I get more emotes. Oh, I got scared. That was in that layer and I thought it was like... I thought I did it all on the sketch layer. Scary. So we're gonna make this pencil a little bit smaller now. Do some of these sort of smaller details. Should be thicker to line up with the rest of this other stuff going on. That is also a little bit thicker. That's fine. Are the art police worse than the vegan police? Probably not. Because apparently the vegan police have superpowers or something. The art police are probably pretty chill. Just judging based on the number of artists I've met in my life, who are all like generally pretty chill. Yes, if you're in the realm of art, that makes sense, I guess. What if you're vegan and an artist? Whoa. They got some saint. Maybe he's just like very heavy. A vegan artist? No such thing. Doesn't exist. I don't want to do too many up by his head because I'm going to do that thing with his hair. I don't want too many like random lines there. Okay. I don't know why, but every now and then, like when I'm doing body hair in this way, if you just do like 2 quick ones right next to each other, I don't know why. Sometimes that just looks more appealing than just like a bunch of singular ones kind of all spread out. So when I do these, I usually do them like 2 at a time. Sometimes like right next to each other, sometimes not. And then just kind of fill in the space. British people exist? I mean, they do. That is true. It It do be like that. Vanilla, hello. Thank you. I'm glad that you like it. Alright. These are gonna be this color, I guess. For now. We gotta find... This might actually be pretty cool. Let's try this one. Sometimes I just kind of make a bunch of palettes and save them. You never know, sometimes it'll work really well for something else later on that you didn't really plan for. Here's this color. I'll make the pillow its own separate thing. Just because it'll be easier for me later. Marshmallow, hello. They're not feet-based emotes. I don't think Twitch would even let me do that. That feels like something that they would say is against their terms of service. Even if you were like all feet-based with your brand, I feel like they would still be like, maybe not. That's how you sleep in your neck hurts. Spread out some. Sometimes I sleep like this if I'm like if I'm trying very hard to go to sleep. I'm like, everybody shut up. I'm sleepy. I'm glad you like the bear's marshmallow. I don't know if I said that out loud, but I definitely thought it. Thought it in my brain. Oh boy. Way outside the line with that one. Wasn't even close to being in the line, that one. Okay. That's those. I still need to do this tan. Little behind the scenes for y'all. His tan is the same color as Tank's skin tone. But his skin tone is the same as Jesse's skin tone, because they're cousins. He's like a mix of the two of them. Where is the thing? Here is the thing. Just gonna blend this a little. I don't know what you mean by infer something. He's like, hold on. Stretch time. Uh. Oh, dang. Turned it off instead of just resetting it. Okay. But no, he's like, kind of in between the two, which is why I did that. It's like Tank's personality, but he looks more like Jesse. I don't know about this, but I'm gonna try it and see what happens. I actually hate it. I've decided I'm not doing it. I was gonna put a little bit of paleness on the bottom of his feet, but in retrospect, that wouldn't really make a ton of sense. Oh boy, conspiracy time. Did I pick the right color? Okay. It seemed darker for some reason. I need the X-Files theme for all this conspiracy talk. And then he has freckles. I think the last time I made his freckles look like Felix's skin tone. And I probably put him on some kind of blending mode. I don't fully remember. He has a lot on his shoulders. Shoulders and his cheeks, but not much else. You need Roz. Where's Roz? Okay. This part's always kind of goofy to me. This color combination kind of feels like mac and cheese. For some reason, mac and cheese vibes. Micah, hello. Welcome. Is a sleepy boy. Need a new layer. So I usually do one layer that's like darker for him, and then one that's like the actual hair color. Blonde hair is like really weird and awkward for me to do. I'm still not fully sure I have a handle on it. But so far this is how I've done it. Just like layers of other color on top of one another, I guess. Comically oversized butterfly net. Maybe. I was considering doing like one of the bears in like a Bigfoot pose just for Roz. Give the whole place like a real Gravity Falls vibe where just cryptids are everywhere. But instead of like normal cryptids, it's like weird orange bears, I guess. No, I couldn't figure out how to make it like legible. as an emote. You know what I mean? Emotes are kind of tricky because like you can technically put whatever you want, but when they're very small, you lose a ton of your details. So it needs to be something very simple that you can kind of tell what it is without having to like really look at it. So for that reason, I try to keep it to like, ooh, I bumped my arm while trying to scratch my shoulder. I try to keep it like very simple stuff. So maybe I'll do it as like, maybe I'll put it in like the, I need to make a new like starting soon screen. So maybe I'll do it there. Group all these. I grab that and we're gonna use this one. We'll see how it goes. That's pretty okay. Mothman Bear would be pretty good. Let's go with this. I don't want it to be super bright white. But I don't want it to be weird looking either. Yeah, blonde hair is tricky, just because it hits the light in a slightly different way than darker color hair does. It almost seems more transparent because you can kind of see a lot more going on. But with darker hair, it's more or less just the color. And then, of course, light hits it as well, but since it's darker, it's a little more opaque and harder for the light to come through. That's what I was forgetting. The boy needs pants. These. Blam. And I need... what color did I just grab? This one? Debatable. You guys. Actually, I do probably need like a... let's try this. Some kind of darker color on his feet. I am gonna go with red, actually. Clear that. Just because it was looking a little too uniformly colored there. That's probably fine. Let's go with this. Going big, blotchy cow print. Oh no! At this point, I'm not concerned about staying inside the lines because I will make this a clipping mask in like 4 seconds. That's too similar to the one next to it. I just did the same thing. That's a little better. Clipping mask. I kind of like it. I'm really feeling it. What is this? Where did this come from? Did I just not fill that all the way in? Weird. Oops. Forgot this one isn't a clipping mask, so I have to kind of sort of pay attention to what I'm doing. Alright, so here's a thing that I wanted to try. Those little flyaway strands. Is you pick the same color as your hair color and you go above your line art. And you just kind of break up those lines just a little bit. I don't want to get too carried away with these, but they're very fun. So if you do something similar, try not to get too carried away. I'm gonna group these together. Thank you, biscuits. Group these. I think I missed a spot with this pillow though. His face looks so red when you can see like all of his like not tanness. He's making me want to turn this down. It's probably fine. Probably fine. Right, so we're gonna say the light is coming from this side. I feel like I tend to favor the right side for lighting because I'm right-handed. It's not always 100% true of everybody, but I feel like that's true for me. I have to actively like think about it when I'm like, no, not on the right side again. But it's because tend to do light coming from the left. Okay. I always thought it was because of my like right-handedness, because my arm follows this kind of curve. So I'm constantly wanting to draw shadows over here and not so much on this side. Because this is like where my hand rests. So it's like easier for me to draw things on this side of the page than it is for me to draw stuff on the other side. It usually depends, Marshmallow. It depends generally on what is more important for the piece that I'm doing. Like if it's a very harsh light and I want the lighting to be like the first thing that you notice, I'll do the light first just to make sure that I have it in place. But right now, which is what I usually do, is the shadows first. And then I'll kind of block in highlights after the fact. It's usually how I do. Unless there's like a specific light situation that I want to make sure that I get before I do anything else. I don't know why it's just easier that way for me. But you do the same thing, so I guess you probably also feel similarly. Just here blocking in really big shapes first. And because this isn't like super complicated, I'm just doing one big layer for the shadows. But sometimes I will do a separate layer for each like figure or object or whatever in the image. But if I'm trying to go quickly, I just make everything on one layer. And the only thing that's usually above it is the lines, the outlines. Oh, marshmallow. Well, you tried your best. You can do it again. Goro, hello. Welcome. Oh, so many folks now. Hello, everybody. We got some new emotes. It's true. We got some coral bear friends. The comedic timing was very good, Marshmallow. Very true. Yeah, the IRL cam. Glad you like it. Oh, this is gonna bother me now that I see it. Wait, what layer is this? Oh. Oh. It was just the shadows. I thought I like messed a whole bunch of stuff up with the layer below. Didn't notice until a minute later. Hey, it's cool. I wanted it to be kind of subtle, so it's totally fine. But you can see how I'm making my marks now, and also when my battery gets low, I can actually charge it and not have to worry about like if my Wi-Fi will cooperate with me. Because it usually doesn't. The color is slightly off, but that's like the only downside about it. And I usually post these like immediately after the stream ends anyway, so it's not like everybody in here is going to be in suspense for very long about it. You're like dying to see what the true colors I'm using are. Out here with that true color withdrawal. I need to see the hex codes. Give me a Pantone swatch. I recently had to print some stuff with a Pantone in it. I forgot how expensive those Pantone books are. They're something. And over the palette, oh no. If I was like any sort of remotely organized about how I do my palettes, maybe I would like post them all somewhere, but I change them so much that I feel like as soon as I decide to post a thing of like, here's all the palettes I use, it would immediately be obsolete. I try to use the same ones for a lot of things, but sometimes it's just not it's not the play, not the move. Gotta get some new colors in there sometimes, you know? Or what happens more frequently is that I'll find like a photo or something and I'm like, the colors in this look really cool. And Procreate makes it like really, really easy to make palettes from photos and things. Oh no. That should be closed. Yeah. Nice. So now I'm doing a little bit of the minor details here with the shadows. I'm basically just trying to go general to specific here, where we block in the big shapes first. Once we kind of know where those are, then I'll account for smaller details like folds in the fabric, like here. Hit the wrong button, have to refollow. Hey, it's totally cool. What size bed? That's a good question. I guess this would have to be like a king size or something, right? Or what's that fancy one? A California king? That's the biggest one, right? Is he a big boy? Thank you for the subscription, Biscuits. I appreciate it. Could have spent that money anywhere and you spent it here. I hope you enjoy your bear emotes. Stretch time. Ugh. Feel free to play along at home. Get up and stretch, y'all. It's good for your spine or something. Don't forget to stay hydrated also. I was gonna say drink water, but I'm not drinking water, and I wouldn't tell you guys to drink water because I'm not drinking water. Drinking Gatorade, which is like better than like some other options, I guess. It's not the worst option, is what I'll say. Grizzly Bear, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a wonderful time wherever it is that you are. Goodness, hard for me to say. Thin ice bucko. Oh no. But it's got the electrolytes the plants crave or something. Electric lights, delicious. Yummy electric lights. That doesn't feel right. See you later. Thank you for stopping by. I must moisturize because they look soft and young. Nope. The secret is just don't go outside. Stay inside all the time and only play video games. That's my secret to my hand modeling success. Become a shut-in. Live your life like a hermit. And you too can have beautiful hands, I guess. The enemy is and always will be the sun. I mean, I guess so. I try to be as nocturnal as possible. Sometimes it's difficult though, because stores aren't open all the time. I have to wake up. I'm gonna have to go over these little strandy bits with that same gradient that I put on the other stuff. To make them fit a little bit more. Because they matched at first and now they don't. So they have to match again. Otherwise, they will look weird and stick out a little too much. Which is not what we want. I guess that's okay. That's probably fine. I've noticed a thing that I want to fix. And it's this. It's a little bit better. good enough. What was I gonna do? Oh, right. This. I need to make these not a group. I have like a very convenient group button, but not a very convenient ungroup button, unfortunately. So now these are exactly the same. You'll love to see it. I'm just going to duplicate this as well. Let's just grab this and see what happens. And that kind of worked out. Yeah. It's probably not perfect, but I'm going to leave it. Because there's another gradient at play there, so it's going to technically be slightly different from the other stuff, but it doesn't look like it's too bad, so we just gonna leave it. And now for the light parts. Oh wait, I lied. Not time for the light parts. Still more shadow to do. This one doesn't come out as far, but it's still important to convey that he is sinking into the bed. The idea is to be a little more subtle here, but I feel like I'm probably not going to be. Like, I don't want these lines to come out as far as they do on this side. Oops. Because I'm going to be using a lot more light on this side to show depth than I will be using shadow. Dang. I think I'm like just kind of barely not touching these buttons. It happens to me a lot, but I feel like I'm doing it like extra a lot today. He looks like he has a birthmark. It's true. It's because we haven't changed the blending modes yet for that layer. I'm gonna wait until I put down a couple more marks. We'll put one here, I guess. Okay. So, this is gonna be like, probably this. Probably that. I feel like I always end up making these boys a little too shiny, but it's basically my aesthetic at this point, so I've just kind of embraced it. The downside is that it becomes a little bit harder to convey when someone is like moist, like if I'm drawing Kai coming out of the ocean. You would normally show that sort of thing with more reflections, but they're already very shiny normally. It just looks like normal. It's beeping at me. Plug it in. Ugh. Okay. It said it's plugged in. I am now entrenched in a series of cables and things. But it's fine. Moist. Oh. The moisture. Sure. Sure, I guess that's fine. Erase this. I am, of course, going to have to now add yet another clipping mask to the little strandy bits. To make sure they all kind of match. That dot wouldn't be there. Those probably wouldn't be on his eyes either. That's probably fine. Post-shower sleep. Possibly. Junior's probably a shower at night kind of guy. Spending all day out on the farm with the cows. Probably showers after all that. Because them things get up early. I don't know if I ever mentioned this on stream. But part of the reason that he works on a cow farm is because I used to live next to one when I was in college. My apartment was like directly across the street from a small dairy farm. And boy howdy, let me tell you, those cows, they sure do love a good sunrise. They would be out and about when it was still dark and then get super loud suddenly and they were like, hey, look, there's the sun over there. It's like, oh boy. It's like it's daytime. I could hear them and I was like kind of across the street from them. Like my apartment was on the ground floor and my window was like facing the cows, but there was a street in between us. I have a friend who lived in an apartment that was like literally up against the cow farm. And I was like, how do you even survive? Because they're loud enough from where I'm at. I could not imagine being even closer. They were always delightful though. Always happy to see you. Those little cows. I don't know about this shape. Let's find out. Kind of works. Kind of okay, I guess. Oh no. I saw that, and I didn't do anything to prevent it. It was entirely my fault. What an easily preventable tragedy. Cows are very, very loud. Yeah, man, cows make some noise for some reason. Them girls like to gossip, I guess. Always talking about something. Totally make a calendar with the boys. I could now, actually. That might be something to do. Because I have 7 now. I guess technically I have a lot more than that if I count like all of the other secondary and tertiary people that I don't draw very frequently. Let me see. Gotta make sure I'm not like showing you the whole list of secret characters that are only secret because I haven't fully decided on a name yet. So let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 characters. Most of them are like siblings that I've drawn in like those baby pictures that I did a while back that I kind of have to just do again at some point. The exception I think is Felix's younger brother. I think I did him more than once. But it was a very long time ago, so I should draw him again sometime. So I guess I could, is the short answer. Oh. I think I hit clear when I wanted to hit fill there. Alpha lock first. Where's the... There it is. Camp out for a calendar. You guys. So that's our values. I could probably do more with this, but I don't know that I want to. fine. Yeah, okay. So this going to once again make us a blur. I guess overlay. And this color now. Set this also to overlay. And we got us a little bit more of a dramatic lighting situation. So now I'm gonna do the secret cheating part. That just instantly makes everything look better for some reason. Because I don't fully understand how colors work, I guess. That's gradient maps, wow. Let's go with that. Yeah, good enough. Let's see. This would be my usual one that I use for like nighttime stuff. But every now and then there's one that might look a little more interesting. Let's see what this does. Sometimes I'll just pick them at random and see what happens. It's not terrible. I don't hate this. Pretty okay. Turn this down a little bit more because I don't want these. I don't want these lines in this area to get a little too lost. What if I put these below the line right there? Does that do anything? Not in particular. So we're just gonna go with black. I try not to use black for my lines. Sometimes it's a little more interesting. Oh, you know what might be fun, actually? Let's try this thing I don't usually do a whole lot. Cows wake him up. It's true. Maybe none on the face. Let's see. Trying not to do these a ton. Oh, here we go. But one way that you can kind of reinforce your character's shape and silhouette is to sort of color in the the parts of your line that don't face the outer, like the outer silhouette. That makes sense. So like I wouldn't color this line, and I wouldn't color this line because it kind of shows his arm there. Oh, stretch time. Oh, wait, I have to unplug my headset to do this. Chair is so squeaky now. It didn't used to be this way. Yeah, I think that's all that I'm gonna do for that. I don't have a ton of overlapping like, detail lines, basically. We're gonna leave it at that. I need this layer. Oh, I have to put my name on this somewhere, I guess. This. We'll put it here. Use this color. That's too big. Probably fine. Try to put it in a place that's like legible and noticeable, but also slightly a pain to crop out or remove in some way. Because some people like to steal things. And I would like to make it difficult for them to do that. Zoom all the way in. Get rid of one little pixel. I can save it as a PNG. And yeah, I guess that's it for this boy. That turned out to be pretty quick. Let me see if I have any friends that are streaming that I can go hang out with and stuff. A bearific job, oh boy. You guys and your bear puns. Thank you, Ice Champ. I don't know anybody like super well. My goal for next stream, because I'm too nervous to do it now. We're just gonna raid a person that I vaguely know. Because I always get very self-conscious about stuff. Let's do this while I ramble. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Oh, so good. That's silly. I already forgot what I was talking about now. That pun threw me off. Yeah, that'll be it for me for this one. I should be back again on Wednesday, probably. And until then, if you want to see this boy or other such boys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram with the same name as here. That's where they go every day. And yeah, if you want to hang out in the next time, I'll be back at around the same time. maybe I'll have an idea that takes longer to do so that the stream will be a little bit longer, but yeah. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Go out and, be nice to somebody. Make their day. And maybe someone will do the same for you unexpectedly. Yeah, have a wonderful week. And I'll see you guys in the next one, I guess. And enjoy your new bears elsewhere on Twitch now, I guess, also. Yeah. I'm so bad at ending these streams. Okay. Good night, everybody.